welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Haley and you're watching Between the Pages. I have a book review for you today, and that is Four Dead Queens by Astrid Scholte. This was, again, part of my Crate TBR Veterans, one of my episodes. I don't remember what number. It's probably number 4 because I haven't finished, no, it's probably number 5 because I haven't finished number 6 yet. But yeah, this was from Crate TBR Veterans, and this was probably one of the most surprising, because when I first started reading it, I didn't realize it was sci-fi. And if you've been here for a while, you know that I have a very mixed relationship with sci-fi. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it. It kind of depends on how it's executed. This one has a lot of almost fantasy elements to it, which I think is why I like it, and why I don't like things like the ones we're meant to find. That was very like hard sci-fi for me, and very like cold and clinical and like robotic. Felt almost, I don't know how to, it's hard to explain, but if you've seen that episode that pops up, and then I'm sure my thoughts are more coherent on that. But yeah, this is actually sci-fi. Loved it. It's going to end up going right next to Heart of Iron and all my other sci-fi books. So we're just going to discuss some things from it. I was glad. So there are 4 queens, obviously, in the title, 4 dead queens. But they're slowly killed off one by one. And I did like that, because at the beginning you get a lot of point of views. Like a lot of switching point of views. So you have like the main character's point of view, then you have various queens, POVs. But yeah, I was glad that they were slowly being killed off, because I was like, I don't know if I could handle that many point of view switches, because that's one of my biggest criticisms of one of the House of Night books, which will come up in a project later. I have not worked on that, but I am going to reread all the House of Night books. But I remember one of them, it like switches like mid-chapter, like every couple pages is like another point of view, but it's not like a chapter break. So that really annoys me in books. So this one thankfully didn't have too many POV switches. I was able to follow the story pretty well. 2 of the queens are together, like in a lesbian relationship. So I thought that was really cool. And like, that's part of the reason why like they couldn't be together, because they're like, well, 2 queens can't be together, because that would mean that they would rule 2 quadrants of the city, like basically half of the city or half of this area, because there's 4 queens because there's 4 quadrants, and that's basically like 4 countries. It's kind of hard to explain if you haven't read it. It's one of those like sci-fi things that you just kind of have to read, and then it makes sense. So it's also a dual timeline. So while the queens are being killed off, you also have the main character and her kind of like love interest trying to solve the murders of the queens. So at some point, like the 2 timelines like merge together. So one's like in the past and one's in the present. So it's one of those complicated timelines, and like it slowly comes together like in the very end. I thought that Carolee was either one queen's daughter or the other. She's not. I don't remember whose daughter she is, but she's just the daughter of a merchant, like a fish merchant or something like that, because I think she's from like the fishing quadrant or something like that, or like the dock area of this city. And so I thought maybe she'd be one of the queen's daughters, because I thought that'd be a really cool plot twist. She's not. One of the other, like a character that gets introduced like 75% of the way through, ends up being one of the queen's daughters, and like basically orchestrating the deaths of the other queens so she can become like the ultimate queen and rule like the entire city. I didn't like that. I was like, why are we introducing a new character 75% of the way through this book? I do understand that she was working with Machiel, which is the thief or like bad guy who takes in Carolee like after her parents die, and so they're working together. So I understand why she was introduced 75% of the way through, but I would have liked it better if she had been there from the beginning, and like we found out later, and it was kind of like a huge betrayal of like the main character's trust and everything like that, because I like plot twists like that. So I didn't like that she got introduced 75% of the way through. One of my friends, Cheyenne, I talk to her about my books, like, every time I read them, and I kind of explain to her, like, what's happening, what are the characters, what's the setting, and she was like, oh, what if the main character is the one who's killing these queens? And I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. That's totally what happens. Because in the beginning, Machiel has her steal these like microchips almost, for lack of a better term. I can't remember what they call them, but they're basically microchips. And like when she touches them, it basically like rewires her memory and like gives her instructions on like how to kill each queen. So she's been killing the queens the entire fucking time. And like you don't know until the very end, and it's just crazy. It was a crazy plot twist. It probably would hit differently if I reread it with my knowledge of knowing that she's the killer, and like it'd be kind of cool to reread it and like try to catch like the little subtle things that the author has put in the book to help you catch that she's actually the killer. But yeah, she doesn't end up like being persecuted or anything, because she was basically being like mind controlled the entire time. But yeah, I just thought it was a really cool plot twist. Again, I have a complicated relationship with sci-fi, so I'm glad that this is a sci-fi that I actually like. So yeah, that's just my mini review. Actually, it's actually not really that mini now that I look at the timestamp that I've been talking for almost 7 minutes. But I've had a coffee, so maybe that's why. But yeah, that is my review for Four Dead Queens, and I will see you guys later.